Hey guys, welcome back. And this week is a bit interesting, okay? Now, we wanted to talk about this because it's something that people often confuse with one another, right? And honestly, there's a bit of a difference. What are we talking about?
Okay, well, I have a gut feeling we're going to be talking about instincts versus intuition. Am I right? Did I get that on the ball?
But before we get into that, right, if you have not done so already, please follow, subscribe, hit the like button. If you like something we talk about, please add it in the comments, okay?
Definitely.
Now back to instinct and intuition.
Exactly. Like you said, people use it interchangeably, right? And we're here to help you know the difference between the main difference between the two. And they're both things that we use naturally every single day as a muscle. And as with all muscles, like they say, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Absolutely.
So hopefully this, with what we're giving you, you could do some practical steps to help strengthen your instincts, to help strengthen your intuition.
Yes, because while they are similar in terms of like helping us make decisions or actions or whatever the case might be, helping us in terms of moving forward, there's a very distinctive difference between the two, and we'll just go off of the list and see what we got here.
Right. So the first one that we're going to talk about here are instincts, right? Instincts versus intuition. The first one is your gut feeling. So when you have this unease feeling and you're not feeling like, you know, that like your stomach is whirlwinding, or you're like, oh my goodness, I'm just not feeling right about that. It's a gut instinct that you're having. So you're walking down a dark alley, right? And then you're just like, oof, something about this is a little bit off, right? Yes, exactly. Then you took a different route. Well, and then later on you find out there was something lurking in the darkness. Well, good for you. You use your gut instinct, and that is helping you get out of danger.
Now that's instinct, you know, because that's going to be the gut bubbly feeling, physical thing happening, right? The difference between intuition is that we feel this if we were to use the same scenario, for example, walking down a dark alley, and we feel in our hearts that we should probably not make that turn and make that turn. So that is when intuition comes in. It's something you feel in here. It's just like I don't know. It's you don't really get like the bubbly gut feeling, but your heart is telling you that you should probably not take that route. That's intuition.
Okay. And following next, we have the automatic response to external stimuli. For example, right? So it's kind of like, oh, something drops and you just jump, you know, or you hear a gunshot and you're done. Oh snap, what's going on, right? Like that is an instinct. Something happened, and with that, you know, you just react to it.
Yes. Versus intuition, it draws from a pool of inner wisdom and cognitive process, right? So it's just going back with the heart feeling in your heart. It's also the wisdom feeling, like the knowing, like, like, you know what? Like, I feel like gunshots are gonna pop off here.
Oof,
and then minutes later, pop, gunshots. You know,
you done dip already before that even happened. Good for you.
That's more of like, you know, intuition. You know, you're using your mental processes, past experiences, whatever the case might be, but it pulls in from like the wisdom that comes with who you are. Okay,
and following next we have instinct is something you do without thinking, and that relates to the prior example I gave, right? You're not thinking like, oh, should I duck, should I do this, should I do that? You don't have time to think. Your body, which is the physical response of what we're telling you, the body just knows what to do and to react.
Yes.
So instincts is very much the physical aspect of the safety of your body.
Yes. Now versus intuition, because you reacting, right, instinct wise, because you hear gunshots, that's a logical reasoning for why you would duck. Okay. Intuition, on the other end, you do something without any specific logical reason. Okay. Not that someone warned you about something, not that you heard anything, not that anything happened in the external environment.
We didn't say get down.
Yeah, none of that. You just get the intuition feeling like maybe you should get your head down. Okay, that's more of a difference of intuition.
Yeah, and to continue on, instinct is that innate behavior. I like to think that it was like passed on through, centuries and eons through our ancestors, right? That behavioral feeling, because we do know in our prior episodes, right, how DNA work, how coding and programming works, right? And which we could link these videos up here so you guys can go ahead and review them. But it's that innate behavior, like it's internal, right? Like how they say, oh, men are more protective, right? And how women are nurturers more so, right? So that's like that innate behavior that just comes from many, many years and centuries of our ancestors, passing that trait on to us.
Absolutely. That's instinct versus intuition. It's just a feeling of knowing. Don't ask me how, don't ask me why, because like, again, I said before, there's no specific logical reason. You just know. That's intuition.
That part, okay? You be knowing. And we're proud of you for that.
Okay.
So because of the instinct feeling that you get, it might push you into action. So you're not, like I said, you're not wanting, when you're pushed into action, right, because of the external stimuli, you're not thinking, oh, which action is best for you, right? You don't have time to be like, oh, snap, should I go jump off the red cord? Should I go jump off the blue cord? You just gonna jump off. Wherever it is. You gotta get out.
Yes, versus intuition. So it's not an impulsive act. It's more so like it's more information to help you make a decision. Okay, that's more exactly. Yeah. So it's not that you're going to just do something out of impulse or out of like jump into action. It's just like, all right, well, dang, I'm about to jump off this car. There is no one chasing me, you know? So what do I really want to do here? Like, you have a little bit more time to think about your decision versus an instinct behavior.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back off of that, what helps with that physical aspect of your body safety again is knowing that we all inherited that from our ancestors.
Oh yeah.
Because like I said earlier, like if you're thinking about a woman's, energetical way of being way back in the day, we were gatherers and nurturers, right? So instinctively, if we see someone hurt, we're more so, let me go help this person out. Oh my God, this person is hurt. Let you get that mothering aspect. Let me see what I can do, versus, so that's like that instinct feelings that we get from our ancestors. Versus a man, it's like, okay, well, now it's like, oh wow, someone's being rude or disrespectful to this woman and they're a man. Let me go and step for this woman, because it's like that's your innate being then to go ahead and stand and up for and protect either or in the situation.
Absolutely. And a little different from intuition versus instinct, where it's more like innate behavior, inherited. Intuition is more like information that is drawn up from past experiences, for example. Okay. Because like I was saying before, it is detail or feelings that we get from the pool of wisdom, and some of that wisdom, exactly, and that wisdom can come from collective experiences that you have had to help you make a more a smarter decision type thing. Like, well, it's kind of like the what is that word called? The hypothesis, but is it a smart or intellectual hypothesis? Like, or you get the word? I forget the exact word that they say, but it is a hypothesis you make, but it's a smart one, if that makes sense. Because
based off the trials and experiments that you've done before.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And lastly, instincts isn't driven by attachment. Like, and to me, that kind of like means like, you're not making this, you're not being...
No, it is driven by attachment.
That's what I meant. Yeah, it's driven by attachment. So to me, it's kind of like, it is, these other things are looped into why you behave the way you behave, right? So it's kind of like,
DNA,
so like say you are living in a spot where you've already seen how unsafe it could be and this and that, right? Now you're more jumpy, you're more like alert, you're more like, oh snap, because anything could go off because of your surroundings. So you already have these preconceived notions because of those attachments to your surroundings.
Okay, and then intuition is more so neutral. you know. Kind of like how I mentioned before, it's not coming from a logical, specific reason, and it may be coming from a collective ideas from experiences and philosophies and things like that. But it's not going to have any attachments per se, right? Like it's just, more neutral than having a more emotional attachment that, an instinct would do versus intuition. It's just because when you get an intuition, you're probably more calm.
Exactly.
Like, oh, okay, like I probably should do that. You have time to ponder on your decision.
Yeah.
Versus instinct is probably more like fear-based.
Exactly.
Like, or excitement or whatever.
Because we both can be in the same environment where, say, it's both unsafe, but we react differently.
Absolutely.
So those are the different channels and ways you can react. And, it's, like I said, it's a muscle that we definitely want to be using because honestly, they both work very well together.
Yes, they do.
And they give you that, more solid ground in terms of like what the bigger picture of what's happening.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what do you guys think? Like, are you a fan of instincts versus intuition? Have you mixed them together priorly in the past?
Yes, or mislabeled them,
Yeah.
Where you're really getting an instinct and you're like scared out your boots, jumping, glitching probably.
Okay.
And you call it an intuition,
It's not the same thing,
It's not.
Yeah, because it's like, based off those, we are using different channels in our body.
Yes.
The instincts is more so you're focusing on your solar plexus, right? And your intuition, I like to say, is the third eye and the heart connected.
Absolutely.
Because they're both using that channel where you're like, yeah, I am grounded and getting this information. Versus that, like you said, the fear-based reaction to that stimuli.
Yes, and both are necessary.
Yeah.
That's not to say one's more important than the other, because I feel like instinct would help you get out of danger faster than intuition would. Because intuition, you want to ponder about it, versus instincts, you got up out of here. Like,
okay.
So it's definitely both are needed.
Yeah.
It's about figuring out which is which matters, because then it helps you better depict like what situation you're in and what actions is appropriate for that situation.
Yeah.
And really help you guys make better decisions, I think, in the long run.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're kind of like still stuck on it, I think the most basic way we can say it is that instinct is focusing, like we said earlier, on the physical aspect of your body, the safety and the protection of your actual physical body, versus intuition, which is safety, yes, and protection, but on your spiritual being.
Yes.
So
and it's more like premonitious in terms of like something that is to come versus something that's happening right now.
Yes, exactly.
Okay? So you can kind of see how they both are necessary.
Yeah. And, we love that because not only are you protected now, you're protected in the future, you're protected in the past.
The past,
all
present,
surrounded.
You good. You got all the senses you need, all right?
And we love that for you, okay?
So please comment, guys, if you have any extra additional information you'd like to add versus instinct and intuition, or perhaps you have a slightly better explanation of what each is. Share it with us. We'd like to know.
And if you have not already, go ahead, like and subscribe, and go ahead, hit the bell for your notification. We drop videos like this every single week, y'all.
Every week, y'all.
Okay? So guess what? We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.